Golf fans, time to settle in. It's moving day at the 2025 Aurora World Ladies Championship. The inaugural playing of this tournament, a tournament that saw us begin with 120 athletes in the fields. After 2 rounds, we were able to cut that down to 67, and we really do have no clear picture as to who is going to win this thing. It is tight. From P1, Coach E1, and our 13 underscore, all the way down to players within 5 strokes. Look, there's still about a round and a half still to be played, so anyone in that top 20 still has a shot at lifting this trophy for the very first time and writing their names in the history books of an event that we certainly hope will be around for a while. We would be remiss, however, not to discuss the big story that we saw develop yesterday, and that was the ascendancy of Chae-Ming-Gyung, who, at 32 years old, has played in 247 tournaments. She has recorded just 3 runner-up finishes, and she has never won. Now, she's been a little bit slow out the gates based on her standards from the first 2 rounds, but she's still within 2 strokes. And what a story that would be tomorrow evening if she could finally be crowned a champion on the KLPGA Tour. Other notable names, well, we could talk about the leader, Coach E1. She's 4 under today. We could talk about Sun Eugene, who is 2 strokes back, but is at 5 under after 11 holes. We saw Kim Lian, who was really strong, putting in a fantastic opening 36, shooting 10 under par, but is +1 after 7 holes. That's the same case for Sung Gaon, Chung Juri, and Han Bit Na. Other names that we're used to seeing towards the top, well, we would have to see EA1. She is in the top 10, but she is 3 strokes back. She has been steady since day number 1, and we will certainly be keeping a close eye on her back 9 over the course of the next 3 hours or so. So, pour yourself a tea or a beverage of your choosing, put your feet up, and enjoy one of the best golf tours in the world and the fantastic course that is the Aurora Golf and Resort. Mother Nature has been kind to us all week long so far, and that's no exception today. Sunny skies all the way through to the evening, and it's hot, 32 degrees, and windier today than we had seen in the first 2 rounds, 3.8 meters per second at the moment. We'll enjoy one last day of sunshine before the clouds roll in tomorrow. My name is Adam Jenkins. Thanks for being with us and continuing to support the KLPGA Tour. We'll begin today with Sun Eugene. She's on 11. She is at 11 under and has a lengthy putt for birdie. Let's tell you about this round of hers so far. As she taps in her par, she had 5 birdies on the front nine. She has not had one in 5 holes in a row now, maybe cooling off a touch at the turn. And Chae-Ming-Gyung. She really came to life on the back 9 yesterday. She has just 1 birdie on the round. It came at the last, the par 3 6th. Here she is on 7, playing a bump and run from the fringe just before the green. Now she needs to slow down. Leaves herself with about 3 meters or so coming back up the hill. I beg your pardon, it was just the 1 birdie for her. 13 on the back 9 yesterday. She did her heavy lifting on the front. It was Thursday that I'm thinking of when she had 4 birds. On to the next, and it's an approach. A pretty good one to the center of the green. It will roll down the hill. Front left pin placement today in this Saturday round of golf. Furthest from the pin in her group, the other 2 nice and tight to the flag. Leanne would very much like a do-over here. Could not escape the sand and end up on the green. Number 8, Coach E1. She was very long here at 8. It is a 160-meter par 3. She's trying to get up and down to avoid a bogey. She's already had one today, was at 4, but 5 birdies around it. It's been an eventful front 9 so far. For really splitting hairs, we say Soa Jean was not able to reach in 2, but by a meter. Downhill towards the flag, speed so tough to judge here. Be about an equal distance to Chae-Ming Gyung as it finally comes to a stop. That will be her putt for birdie. And DA1. On number 11, coming off a bogey at the 10th and putting it behind her immediately. She eagled the first hole today. Posted 5 pars in a row, a couple of birdies, 7 and 9. She's been consistent with one bogey, per round. Her first eagle of the tournament. So far, 68, 69, and on pace, if we do some quick math, for a 65 here today, which would certainly be her best. 2 over for Kim Ni-an now. That's what she wanted to do the first time. Nice touch from around the green. And now Coach Yuan in a par save. Just long enough. But you couldn't be surprised if it goes missed. And it dives. It dives to the inside. After 3 birdies in a row. She drops one of those strokes and will be off to the 9th tee. And Soa Jean now the uphill putt for birds. Little right to left break on it. Just a bit too slow. Still a very good putt. It will also give us a bit of an indication on what Chae-Ming Gyung's might do. Joylene on the par 5, 11th. First of the back 9. This is the backspin to stay close enough that she'll fancy those birdie odds. What we certainly know is this is uphill. What we expect now, it's from a different side of the cup. Should be a little left to right as well. That should drop down from our perspective. Let's see. And a bit too much of that break. An opportunity to move back into a share of the lead after Coach Yuan drops. A 5-way tie for second at the moment. One of the players in that mix is Bak Jiyoung. She was the master of the long putt yesterday. Consider that a setup for an uneventful but steady finish to the hole. Birdie's at 8, 6, and 1 on her way out, playing on the mountain course. And unfortunately, Kim Ni-an, the nightmare that this par 5 has turned into, continues. Will be a bogey, and it will take her out of the top 10. Double at 5, bogey there at 7. She will be headed to the 8th tee. One group ahead is Coach Yuan. Birdied the first 2 par 5s of the round, which tells you that the distance and the driver is working. Starts. Nadim, she gave up on it pretty early. Figured it was slow, and it was just a touch off. Sung Eugene. Dragonflies are out today, aren't they? They want a front row seat just like we have. Excellent putts. Give her 6 now through 12 holes and up to a share of the lead. Iron for Jae-Min Kyung on the par 3. One of the main reasons for her incredible standing is she has only shot 1 bogey all tournament long. That was back at the par 3 17th in the first round. Bogey free since. Not quite right at the pin here at 8. Still have some work to do.
왼쪽 거의 맞아. 나도 왼쪽 거의 한 2까지 있거든.
860,000 square meters of land. Incredible skyline looking out towards the mountains. 3,229 meters, par 36 lake course on the way in. Slightly longer mountain course on the way out. And 1 taps in. Looking for win number 4 of the year. No minor accomplishment, that. She knows how to get it done on the weekend. She's tied for 11th by the end of the round yesterday. She is up to a runner-up position already. Cheyenne just clears the front side of the screen, rolls down the hill and stops in a good spot. Jin Sun approaching at 10, riding the right edge of this green to a perch above the flag. She'll putt down for birdie. Pitching wedge for Coach Yuan at 9. Little bit off to the left. That stops in the fringe and will not escape it. Will likely be a little chip back down towards the flag coming up next. Pace of Hyun next. Water over the sand onto the green, but fairly long way off. Now it's no one's fault here. You have to be quite the brave soul to go in any other location. Hazards galore, and pin placement today that makes it really, really difficult to be, let's call it, excessively brave. So Jean at 8. Starts gently up the hill before sliding on down. She was being cognizant of how much speed that would pick up the other side of the crest and didn't want to sail it on by.
나도 왼쪽 거의 한 6까지 붙었어.
From about 5 meters, is not quite there. Take a par on to the next. Officially 7.3 for Jae-Min Young. See how close her other group mates are, and that's where she wants to be. Up the hill, she strikes this firm. A good read. Par is the score, heading to 9. I stand corrected. She prefers the putter over the pitching wedge in this scenario. Given the chance, she might change her mind. A little short, but from the cushioned fringe, definitely needed to give it some juice. We'll go to 10 next with Pak Bo-gyam. And that's tied for 9th now, up to 10 under par. Tied for 8th, pardon me. We've had a little more movement since I last glanced at the leaderboard. 4 birdies now today. Nicely judged. Chayunu picks up the birdie. She officially goes out with a 35. Not a ton left to do, but stroke she had to make nevertheless. After business was taken care of at the last, we nearly had an incredible bit of work. As close as you can be without being in the hole. Okay, so Yan, nearly a second eagle in 3 holes. I guess she'll settle for a birdie. A master of the par 5s. And Pak Jeong. Pin today at 10, front right. 5 yards off the front and 4 from the right fringe. She goes on the right fringe, just a bit beyond pin high.
하겠습니다.
Starting off this winding dogleg left with a big blast to the right side of the fairway. And yeah, won a long way back here at number 9. Might have the legs to carry all the way there. And all right, back half of the fields beginning their back nines on the first hole. Here on the mountain course, we'll see numerous players coming through over the next few hours.
안 떴죠.
And EA1, oh, a bit too quick.
여기다 하고 여기다 걸어서 가요?
Breezes on by that right edge and will need a third putt.
계속 걸어서 바르래요.
걸어서
That's something
바르는
we
건
say too
잘
often
안
about her. The action's coming thick and fast. We started with a leader. 23 minutes later, we have 3 of them. Co-leaders. Sung Eugene at 6 under through 12. Pei So Hyun 5 under through 11. And Kochi 1, 3 under through 9. The chasing pack consists right now, 1 stroke back, Hanchin Sun, Pak Ji-young, and Chae Min-kyung. Ye-1 with that bogey goes to 10 under with Cho Hae-lim and a handful more at that score. Time for our first break of the day. Back in a few at the Aurora World Ladies Championship. Time to get back to work. 1:27 p.m. local time here in Wonju-shi. Park Ju-young just a little bit off. Park Ji-young, pardon me. Haven't seen Park Ju-young in a little bit. Tap in to finish the hole out. Jae-min-kyung's approach lands about 3 meters away from the pin here at 9 and comes to a soft stop, pardon me, just a little further along. And Sung Yoon-jin only 68 meters to go at the par 5, so it's a wedge up. But she doesn't carry enough. The camera pans away, but that ball's rolling down a little bit deeper than she certainly would have wanted it to. Go to So-jin in the meantime. 9 iron, 113 back from the fairway. We've seen this pin already. It's directly over the sand trap. 15 yards. She didn't have the carry. She's in a little bit of trouble. Okay, so Young co-leader, that will sound good. 5 iron off the tee at the par 3. Coach Yuan, back 9 begins now.
Okay.
Coming up the hill and stopping about 1.5 meters short. Should need one more. Excellent touch from the sand. Well, it looked like it could have gone in a very different direction. She recovers exceptionally well. Definitely gets out of Dodge with a big sigh of relief, I'm sure. What ends up being 2 putts. Short on the arrival. Up she went and struts off the hole with her par in hand. mark off. And we will return to number 10. This time's just a little bit short despite even the tailwind, pardon me, to help her along. Coach one, hopefully Caddy didn't bury that putter. She'll need it again. And Pei So-hyun now, she can take the outright leads. Nearly there. Just a little left. Okay, June at 6.6 meters. She's able to hear the rattle. So step one up to Lepar is played. Ball's marked. It'll get a wipe, and she'll hopefully be done with just one more stroke. She is very much right in the thick of things, Coach E1. And she has the most number of holes still to go by virtue of being in the featured and final group. And hey, it's been a pretty solid week for the Ko sisters. Her older sister is not too far away either. Track her progress the rest of the way. Ko Chiu, who is tied for 11th. With a combined score of 7 under par at the end of the round yesterday. She is currently tied for 13th at 8 under. Stories galore here at Aurora. Well, it's 10 holes down and 8 holes remaining for one of our co-leaders. That was a putt with plenty of speed it needed to be. Shane Sun picks up a birdie. She's 2 holes removed from her last and keeps on climbing up the leaderboard. Also looking to finish strongly at 11. Just stays straight long enough. And at 14, Sung Eugene. That's a $1.16 meters remaining. It's a tricky one with a big gust of wind. Looks a little bit disappointed to be that far away yet. Supporters, the gallery, they roar. Really good approach. Advancing along on the par 5, we turn our attention to 12. Here, this par 3.
왼쪽에서 딱 풀이 있는 거야. 넓게 보여.
괜찮나?
Jay Bunn back-to-back birdies on the way in, so she just finishes short of the 10 under mark, but she wraps up her round currently in a tie for the top 10 vicinity, and she'll be happy with that heading to tomorrow. Chae-Ming Young. Time to approach.
치겠습니다.
So on the green, just as the wind dies down, some distance away. It's a hot Saturday afternoon, day 3 after a couple weeks off, taking the summer break. It will certainly test the players here. That's exactly where you want to be. Just over the crest, otherwise you're rolling right on back down. That's a really, really nice approach that should help her continue to climb this leaderboard. Kochi Won, Hanshin Sun, Pei So-hyun, and Sung Eugene. That's right, there is now 4 co-leaders here at Aurora. So we near the end of our first hour of coverage. We see Jae Bun also on the ascendancy with her 67 today. A remarkable round that has her in and around that top 10. Going back to work with Sung Eugene. This is a putt for birdie to the back right corner at 14. Just a touch off.
나이스.
She'll be disappointed in the results, but she should be thoroughly impressed with her putting right now. Taps in for the par. Jae-Min in some trouble. Second shot center to the sand. She's able to get up really well as if she was just in the fairway, made it look easy. She's not the only one who's taking an impromptu trip to the beach.
너무 가까운데.
And back to 13, the par 5, just a little bit short, but for a birdie. And that is just a bit too quick. She was perfectly aligned, and it bounces out the back. So close. New. Par 5, 11th, third shot to make it official. This pin 14 yards inside that edge of the bunker. 5 yards from the left fringe, pretty much exactly where she put it.
Nice body.
나이스 버디.
bit off.
나보 잡을게.
잡힌 거는
오케이.
Ready to shout nice birdie. Which means a slightly different outcome. And change that now to 10. Chae-Ming-Young looking to finalize this sand save. And that will go. Showing some veteran savvy with how she has minimized mistakes. It's not the shot she wants, that's okay. The very next one gets her where she wants to be. And no drama there.
네, 플레이하겠습니다. 멈춰주세요.
All right, swig of water, focus on the shot, and deliver a good one. Sweep of that sand and focus on the putts. That's what's to come. All right, with a big wedge in hand, she's got to get up. It's a climb to the back, exactly where she places it. Excellent approach. Now Pak Jeong, she is anxious. She did everything but yell 4. There was no need to warn anyone around, but yes, that's well off. It's just gonna have enough to drop. EA1, welcome back. She goes to 11 under. What a tumultuous back nine. Bogey, birdie, bogey, par, and another birdie. Knocking on the door once again in search for 4. wants to join her at 11 under. Missing a lot of a putter there from about 7 meters. An uphill putt of about 3. Nice birdie indeed. Back with Park Ji-young. Carries that about half the distance between the fringe and the hole. Little short putt for par coming up next. Call her the architect. It's a good build. Koji to reach 13 and be the first to do so. She plays a bit of a game of croquet between the ball marker and the cup. So again, that opens the door for her. One hole in behind. She's just showing off now. Great little spin to stop it up in a mostly level position to the hole. This is Park Ji-young avoiding the bogey with a good par. Sung Eugene, they all keep coming. Birdie chances. Someone's got to move clear and hit 13 under. Might it be her? Yes, it will be. Outright leader with 7 birdies on the day and 3 holes still to play. On pace for a 65. And who's to say she can't go a little bit better than that? If this was Sunday, there might be a little bit more tension across the course. Who's birdieing where? Certainly if we have this many players so close to the top. These athletes will always tell you, I just try to focus on my own thing. I'm sure, I believe them, but that's easier said than done when you get to Sunday afternoon. By the way, yesterday we saw 3 rounds of 65. Those competitors were Soa, Jean, Sunghoon, and Joaline. Today, well, we might even break that as these players get more familiar with the course. Sung Eugene is there as mentioned. We have 3 players at 5 under, which is tracking for a 67. Or a 67 confirmed in the case of Jae Bun. Kim Min-sun 7 is lighting it up on the front 9 right now, despite being fair bit off the pace still. Made the cut just at 2 under yesterday. Janu has dominated this 12th hole. Birdie so far this week. Pin today is all the way to the back left. 7 yards from the rear, 13 yards, pardon me, from the rear, and 10 yards from the left fringe. Pretty much right there. Climbs the hill, sits pin high. It's a chance to go 3 for 3. Five iron for Coach E1. Well, for the average players, this 12th hole has 3-putt written all over it. Such a long uphill hole with the long narrow green. These players are anything but average, we know that. That's why, given a chance, you want to put uphill and not downhill, certainly from that distance. It's an anxious watch. Here's EA1. Got back to her birdieing ways to move within a stroke, and then Sun Eugene promptly birdied a few moments after. So she's currently tied for 5th. Jae-Min Young, Park Ji-young, and Cho-Lim. See 4 of those 5 names. T5, Peso Hyun, Hanshin Sun, and Kochi One. They are now chasing Sun Eugene, our leader, though they have the extra holes at their disposal. But what could be a 4th round of 7 under this week, maybe even a 64. We'll just have to wait and see. Welcome back. Really get a good perspective of the topography of this green and the camera tower just in behind it. You can also see why you do not want to be short. Fortunately, the last approach was not. Okay, let's see 18 for the first time today. Here's ENG Young. She is at 8 under. And doing some quick math, she's in a little bit of trouble. This would be shot 3, which is what the birdie's supposed to be. She'll go right between her group mates.
아까 태우자.
Coach you one. Trying to get back into a tie for the top spots. She's expecting this putt to break right to left. It's breaking right to left.
Nice.
And she just hangs on. That's a good putt. Nervy putt, but a good putt. And it's her first birdie since hole number 7. See if that can start a little run for her. So a great approach from Joy Lim. Quarter of the fringe, it's a downhill putt that's not quite going to have the speed, and even if it did, she would have been a little bit right.
Okay.
Approach at 16 is just going to hang on. Good shot from a mostly disguised position. Where the hell? Jamming Young, this is for an eagle. 20.6 is way too fast. But she's going to be nice and close as she looks for a birdie. And she is on the other side of the green there. Able to arrive in 2. Should be done in 4. Now EA1. This for birdie. Struck well, but slightly left. Putts solidifies that par. And the first of 2 par 3s on the back 9. Janu won't quite have the speed on that attempt. Jae Young, it's just her second birdie today. She's back within 1. And now Hanshin's son working his way back online. Will require one more tap.
핀 들었어요.
Stand corrected. That was ENG Young's first shot. I think you'll forgive me considering how close she was. So that was the putt for birdie now. Her thirds. Lucky just a few meters to go. It's a nice on that will roll inside of 4 meters. Puck Young after 2, she's only 80 meters away. So she grabs 52, I imagine. Maybe with not much carry and that much wind, she's misjudged it, but didn't want to take a chance on being short. She won with a big swing of that driver. Starts off the stretch with a good beginning. Loop around the hole, but on line enough for Sung Eugene to see that fall. Back to back now, and yes, she is on pace to break the single round record, and I don't know if it can be touched. She still has 2 more holes. We might even see a 63. Peso Hyun. Second closest, pardon me, from the threesome here. I mean, not much has changed since we last showed you the scoreboard, but we do need to take a moment to marvel at Sung Eugene, 8 under through 16. Every other hole a birdie. Yeah, that's pretty good. Her lead, though, is just the one. She was at 6 under when the day began. Jae-Min Kyung is only at 2 under for the round, and she's 2 back with 5 additional holes in hand. This is the Aurora World Ladies Championship at the Aurora Golf and Resort. Don't go anywhere. we're going right back to work with Pak Ji-young, who gets most of the way there in her search for a birdie. Joylene is next. It's now 3 strokes back through no, fault of her own. Just the exceptional play of Sun Eugene, but that is in the exceptional category too. That's a little don't forget about me moment.
누가 뻔했다. 깜짝이야.
And Kochi 1 lifts that second shot towards the end of the fairway. And this 13th is the final par 5 of the course. If you weren't able to join us earlier in the week, it's 4 par 4s and a par 3 in a more of a sprint to the finish than perhaps we're used to with the traditional layout, with 17 or 18 being the dramatic finale. And Peso Hyun is not going to have the distance on that putt. It was a little soft. Sun at 14 is the next shot. Needs the backspin to come in. Stops up in the fringe. It's not a terrible place to be, and she's not the only one who went a little long. Chae-Ming-kyung, it's a look of frustration as she really didn't have that line solved, which is a rarity for her. Nice finish. Kochiu. Older sister doesn't want little sister to steal all the limelight. We'll go to 16. It's a T7 spot right now for EA1, a crescent-shaped putt. Been gravy, as we say in America. A little extra. I don't think she was expecting a birdie, but she would have loved one. Kochi 1 still has 5 holes to go and about 90 minutes to get it all done. She is up after her third. Be a straightforward putt for birdie mind you. Haven't seen Sung Eugene in many a position like this. But that's why there are so few bogeys in the round, because her touch in every facet of the game is completely dialed in. To think that she had only shot a 70 in the opening rounds. 68 yesterday was better, still a couple of bogeys. Today is one of the rounds of her life. Next is Cheyanu. Mid right where the pin is today. Uses the wedge to perfection. Deciding to putt from the fringe. It's a roll of the dice, but it's better than I imagine any other club would have been.
오빠. 화이팅, 화이팅. 되게 순간에
That is the part. She is keeping herself close, but not keeping up.
여기만큼 가야 돼.
내려가서 봐줘야지.
Coach U1 just needs to straighten out. A full 20 centimeters off to the left. This is really, really well played at 14. It's one section of the green where it just juts out to the right before narrowing at the back again, and Park Ji-young solved it like a detective. Off. Cheyanu still just at the 1 under score for the rounds. She shares that mark with Puck June, Kim Lian, and Soa Jean. The only ones over in the top 30. In essence, very different than what we're witnessing from Sung Eugene. Par to keep that 8 under score intact. She is off to her 54th and final hole for this potentially record-setting day. Nice on indeed. Another good approach at 16.
굿샷.
The wind calming down at 17. I see a fair few hybrids at 166 meters, the longest of the four par threes on the course. And Kim Young just a little bit off it. 4 under for her today. That par would keep her at 10 under after 3 rounds. Good start to EA1 of the par 3 as well.
감사합니다. 어서오세요.
Over to 14.
샷.
Back corner of the course. Okay, Buck Ji-young, she's due. It's not going to be here. She has been without a birdie since hole number 8. Now to her credits, she has done well to avoid dropping, but drop she does. Certainly with how the 6 players tied or above her are putting at the moment. To 13 with Chae-Ming Gyung. 84 meters as she tries to run this up the par 5. Less wind than Buck Ji-young had to deal with, but a similar result going just about all the way to the fringe. Hanshin Sun at 113 meters on the 15th.
오케이. 고맙습니다.
And Peso Hyun is going to get that to roll in. Throws her visor back in the ring. And now she needs to cool off. She's putting well. Moves to within one once again. Just complete misjudgment, Jaylene, if we're being frank. I think she'd agree, and based on that grimace, she certainly does.
야, 귀가 좀 열려 있는 거야.
After some anticipation, we're rewarded for the wait. It's a nice up from Coach Yuan. And on 14, the follow-up approach is exactly where she would have wanted it to be. Two looks at a great up as she tries to keep pace with Sung Yoo Jin. And the A1 just wide. Not as precise as she needed to be with the approach, and she pays for it. In the exact same vein, one. Chae Min-young not close enough, and that all but takes the birdie off the table. And almost as close. We'd have to get the microscope out to find who is indeed Coach One with a strong up, and Chae Inu does the same. Hyun-Jin Sun is next in the middle of the green, putting uphill to the back corner. Not quite the roll that it needed.
Nice ball.
Well, as we wait, let's recap the day. What a day it has been. Sung Eugene started from the first hole and showed absolutely no signs of slowing down. I'm not sure if we're going to show you every single one of those birdies because we'd be here for a while. But it sounds like our crew in the truck's going to do their best. From the par 5 first to the par 4 second, downhill putt makes this all the more impressive. Sometimes the players can't even explain how they're doing it, what they feel like. You notice my cousin shot a 63 today, and I was talking to her about it and said the same thing. I'm just operating on a different wavelength sometimes. Should pick up more, 5-6, and this was a third in a row on the par 5 7th, and it was nearly an eagle. It's just whatever she did, the exact routine she had this morning before bed last night, she needs to replicate it tomorrow because evidently it worked to absolute perfection. One of my favorite shots of the day, it was only 5 meters, but we had this unbelievable angle, backside of the green, looking up towards the tee blocks, and you could perfectly see the break. Right to left and down. That would make it 6 through the 12th hole, and she would keep that every other hole pace going. 13 and 14 a par, 5 and 4 par, par, and then 15 back to work, and it's another tricky one. Up the hill with some right to left break. She would solve it. 16. Yeah, we're going to show you every single one on the way in. And she'll be hoping that there is one more in the locker before the day is done. But yes, 16 of 17 greens in regulation. Made all the more impressive by the fact she's missed 7 fairways. So the driver might not be operating as perfectly as it could, but the wedges, the irons, the putter, most certainly is. 25 putts in 17 holes. I mean, that's a scorecard you frame. That's how good of a round it's been. Well, Coach E1 and her group are down the last 5 holes. This is to tie the lead with the short putt for birdie. She's able to knock that down. 7 for her on the day with 1 bogey. That is 6 under with 4 to go. Young. She has struggled in the back 9 with her approaches. Wedge just isn't working as well as she needs it to. Long putt up the hill at 18. Gonna miss wide. This is making a beeline for the pin. Worthy of the applause. Okay, so Young lost a little bit in the fray with how well she's shooting. Janu, just birdie number 3 today. Moves her to T7. Next on at 16 is given a big push by the wind. Sure, taking less club was the answer there either, just less of a swing. It's a solid pickup for Park Ji-young. And it ends 6 in a row without one. She moves to within 2 once again. Sung Eugene makes it 2 pars in a row and a 64 officially in the books. 8 birdies, no bogeys, 10 pars. One of the best rounds we've seen in a long while. Missing the fairway and avoiding the worst of the rough, but she is right off the tee. Pakpok at 16, look at this. That's right on up there with the best approaches of the day. That should almost certainly take her to 11 under par. Pei-So Hyun, meanwhile, is looking to rejoin the leaders. She birdies and has done. That's another good one. Well, these players are making the course look easy. Fantastic approach at the 14th. Some work to do on 18. We will head back to 15 to see what JNU has in store. This is starting right, and it's going to stop about mid-roll. The long putt to come, about 10 meters. Coach U1, 14 under, 15, and firing a dart to just a few meters away from taking the outright advantage. Try to give it a go. Tap in par.
Okay, nice ball.
Jae-Min-Kyung. She's not really seeing the leaders pull away, but she needs to add a birdie or two on the march in. It's not going to come here. Acknowledges the supporters who applaud the back-to-back birdies. Park Bo-Kyam goes to 11 under par. 3 p.m. local time. 2 hours down and still a few holes to go as we track in Jae-Min-Kyung and her group, who have been passed by a handful of players and not showing many signs of slowing down. So Jean also struggling today with a 73. But that's not what we want to dwell on. We want to celebrate the 3 players at 14 under par. Currently a 2-stroke lead in round 3.
나이스 버디였어.
Well, only an hour remains to sort out the leaderboard heading into tomorrow's final round. We're down to the final handful of holes. Starting with a nice birdie from Cheonu. We'll head to 18 next. Joylene wanted to be right off the front. Instead, she was at the back left and is now working her way back down. And that is pretty good, all things considered, from what will feel like 40 yards away. And Coach Yuan settles in. She should have this. She should retake the leads, and has done. She's on 8 birdies as well. If not for a couple of bogeys, she would be right there with Sun Eugene at that 64 pace. NDA1 looking to finish the day on a high note. But what ailed her on this back nine? Not being as pinpoint precise as we're used to seeing from her. We'll never count her out of a final round. It's a 68 today for 11 under after 3. We approach at 16. Doesn't leave much more to be desired. Charlie, disappointing end. It's a 68. She finishes with her second bogey today. She had 6 birds. And will start tomorrow at 11 under. EA1 will be hoping she can say the same thing. '68, '69, '68. It's consistent. It just might not be enough. He is poised for a top 10 finish. Never say never, though, tomorrow. Well, she's unsure. She can be sure of one thing, she's on the green. Well, she's got 3 holes to build her leads. Every investment she can make today will pay off tomorrow. finishes off at 16. It's down to the last 2 holes. Splitting the difference between the flag and her partner, but still a lengthy putt in front of her. Sailing on by. We'll go all the way to the back corner here at the 16th. And on 18. A long, slow crawl back. Okay, so Hyun won't be able to get there today. Maybe tomorrow. The fresh 18. Benching's on 9 meters even for birdie. Dives underneath the hole and will stay out. That's no tap in either. After shot, she's hoping she's only down to 5 or 6, but the next one seems to be more impressive than the last somehow. That's just a different level. Jae-Min Young here at 15. 3 back at the minute and will stay. 3 holes to play. She could birdie out. Just have to be par here. Still tied for fourth. Pei So-hyun to be one back when she arrives at the course tomorrow. Putt for par at 18, and it's there. An eagle, 6 birdies, and 1 bogey. 7 under on Saturday. Fighting a little bit, Janu, today, and certainly on the back nine. She's not too far removed from a birdie, but just 1 birdie. Chun Sun for par at 17. A little left to right, but it's too quick. She's going to relinquish a shot for just the first time today. Was able to go 16 holes without a bogey. It's a bit of a speed bump in the run-in to the end of moving day.
안쪽이잖아. 일반 생각하는 중앙
오빠는 중앙. 지금 괜찮아 보이는데.
중앙.
Okay, Coach Yuan. 3 feet. She's added 1 more to the tally today. It's now 9 birdies in the round. She's 7 under with 2 to play. Park Ji-young on 17, telling the ball where she wants it to stop. It would have been just before the fringe and even the fairway around it, that's for sure. Kimin Sun 7. We mentioned earlier that she was on an absolute heater today. And this would be for a round of 65. Nine under might be a little too far back, but considering where she was and the fact she had just made the cut, this is an incredible turnaround and is worthy of celebrating. Nine birdies for her as well, and the one bogey as she races up the charts. That's why we call it moving day. Sure, it happens every round, but it's most significant today. Coach Yuan is just moving up. 16 under, 2-stroke lead, 2 holes to play. Jae-Ming Young is 4 back. She was one of our co-leaders at the end of the day yesterday. Kim Lian is even after 15 and is fading out of the contention picture. 3:22 local time here in Wonju. We'll take a break and be back with more in just a few minutes. Well, as the rest of the field starts to, let's try that again. As the top 2 and 3 players in the field start to pull away, Pak Jiang is doing her best to keep them close. That was a chip from just off the green. Short tap for the par. She is 4 back with just the 1 hole to play. Green is cleared at 16. We can see a few more approaches. And we can also zip ahead now to the 18th. Hanshin Sun. Rebound after a rare bogey. Just 1 on the round today. I can understand why not many are playing the ultra aggressive path at this 18th with the sand in the water, ready to claim any mistakes. Junjuri for a birdie to finish the round at 9 under par. Should drop top to bottom from where we look. It would have with a little less pace.
이건 왔습니다.
And in this group on 17 and lost a little bit in the fray, Hanbid Na. Bogey for her, and unfortunately she's had 3 of them today, so she goes to +1. Downhill putt from some distance. There's always going to be a setup. $17. That's where we are now. Kochi 1 and her 5-iron. She is in some trouble. She avoids the water, but that is going to be a tricky recovery, to say the least. Chanu is next, hoping for a much better result. Grade 16 with Chae-Ming Young. This could go with a little more speed. Good line. Didn't strike it firm enough. Park Ji-young on our final hole of the day. 354-meter par 4. Straight as an arrow down the fairway.
오케이.
So Gene loops just about a full 270 degrees around the hole, but kicks out the other side. If there was anything more emblematic of her day so far, I haven't seen it. One birdie, it was at the first. Bogeys at 5 and 12, and all pars otherwise. That would have brought her back to even. Jean's son, 10.9 meters on 18. This one will certainly be a 2-putt, but she'll try to defy expectations. Solid attempt.
그냥 조금 지나가도 괜찮으니까. 맞아. 완전 오르막이라서
Coach Yuan starting up, but she played that too soft, and that's rolling back towards the fringe. It might come off the green. She quickly marked that ball off before it can go any further. It was fully stopped, to be fair to her, but she wasn't taking a chance. be more players who have come through 18 and gone long and two-putted for their pars. Double bogey at 17, back with the par, otherwise she would have been tied for 7th, pardon me, without that double. She'll be 7 back, maybe a little less, depending on what transpires at 17 in a couple minutes here. And she starts the round tomorrow. Pakbo Gyam looking to stay at 10 under. So that's 110 underscore secured. Jin Sun to stay T7. She's there. Same score she shot on Thursday. Inside the top 10 heading into Sunday. Never a bad place to be. One of the biggest putts of her tournament so far. 7.1 meters. Not as though she hasn't bogeyed today. She has at 4 and 8. And it's going to be 3. Slow down now. Uh-oh. That's trouble. That's big trouble, in fact. The lead could be vanquished in the blink of an eye. One of the better and braver approaches we've seen on 18. Well struck. Just a bit too high, a bit too quick. Chanu is looking at a bogey. Okay. With a dramatic arrival on 18. Fortune favors the brave, and Pak Young is a lot of things. Brave is near the top of that list, and elite is the reason why she's so consistently in contention for these top 10s, 5s, and victories. And if Coach U1 does in fact double bogey, she makes that birdie, all of a sudden she's just 1 back, heading to tomorrow. Good save. That could have gone in a much different direction, and she grits her teeth at the disappointment of a bogey, but she smiles at knowing how close she was to an even bigger pothole. Fortunately for her, she still has one hole to try and restore that 2-stroke lead. First attempt is a very good one. That won't show up on the scorecard, but for a player who has struggled today with the putter, she gets herself out of a bigger pickle. 73 is where she finishes. T28, 7 under. Fortunately, these tournaments are 4 rounds long, and she'll have a chance to do better tomorrow. Shane, who's par, stays at 12 under. It's close, but not going to be just what she needed. We await Park Ji-young's efforts in a few moments. In the meantime, we can go to the tee at 17th, the final par 3. Kim Lian will go first. Hybrid in hand. Shot takes her to about 8 meters or so away from her birdie.
그래 좀 들고 그러나 봐.
거리는 괜찮네.
Jae Young bogeyed here in the first round, managed a par yesterday. Par 3s certainly aren't her strong suit. She was able to navigate away from that trend earlier today with a birdie at 6, but otherwise she is a power player that loves the 5s and the 4s. Strong swing to get it started. Chenu has done well to maneuver herself back in to the top 5. Pat Young's going to be the sole owner of 4th for now. 5 birdies and 13 pars. Bogey free today and is within 2 strokes. One of her best shots in the last couple of hours, this approach on 18. Jungjury a 72 even par.
공길 코스까지 가도 괜찮거든. 그래야
Day
갖고
that started with so much promise and hope sees her finish 7 back of the leaders.
너무 좋다.
괜찮았다.
A little bit of an unfortunate beginning to this hole. Coach Yuan just might be running a little bit out of steam. The mountains and the heat might be starting to catch up to her. Just another absolutely picture-perfect day in Wonju. This little piece of paradise carved out of the mountains. Gangwon. It's funny to think we had 1 player at the top, 4 players tied for 2nd, and a handful tied for the 3rd best score. And we've seen some players rise, some players fall, but look, it's starting to really feel as though tomorrow's going to come down to the wire. Coach Yuan will find her ball right beside the cart path. They'll move the fence, and she will likely go into simplify modes. Par would be fine. Bogey's not the worst result, but she's used her 1 slip up on this hole already. She can't have a second. put down on this par 3. It comes very close to falling. Chayanu will be the first to approach 18. That's 2 yards past pin high and left. Roll to about 8 or 9 before it stops. Sungan also struggling off the tee at 18. And this was right, but she is longer, and maybe that's a trade-off she'd be willing to make. She just avoids the sand, actually caroms off the top of the hill. Could have been in a much more precarious position. It's rough to rough. And Coach U1, well, she wasn't taking any chances. I'll take my 2-putt, thanks very much. All right, while we wait for the penultimate group to make it to the 18th green, we can wrap up the 17th, and Kim Yen will be the first downhill putt that's going to move left to right. Pops out the backside.
그냥 보이는 것보다 어떻게 거기다 해서 그렇구나 보고 가는
Jaemin Young. Not gonna go. She struggles to find the birdie at 17. Certainly not her favorite hole, there's no doubt about it.
그쪽에서는 왼쪽 이쪽이 더 많이 보이던데.
이쪽이 보이는데 미끄러지는 게안 예쁘더라고요. 느껴져요? 그쵸? 오히려 나는 이쪽이 조금 느껴져요.
아. 땡땡 우측 정도면 되지 않을까? 바로 해서 약간 우측 느낌. 눈으로 봤을 때.
눈으로 봤을 때 이쪽인데.
오르막에 나는 땡땡 우측 빨간색.
All right, not quite ready, so let's go to 18. Sunggaon will be first, just avoiding the sand and the water with her seconds. This will almost certainly be an aim for 2 meters, 3 meters or less. Mission accomplished. Nice chip. On a day with less to celebrate than she would have liked, she'll have to settle for that moment. It won't get her back to even par. It won't prevent her from going down anymore. And Coach Iwan has the green lights. This is a really, really strong putt. She didn't need it to be a birdie. She just didn't want it to be a bogey, so she could rest assured that she would start the round tomorrow as the player to chase. Second tap to finish off 17. And starting to break, but not in time. All right, 53 down, 1 to go. She is really feeling the heat, Jae Min-kyung, literally and figuratively. Sunghoon back to back to back to back pars. 8 under after 3 rounds. And the 18th hole, green lights. Featured group is away. Yeah, it's a scorcher. These are professional athletes, this is what they sign up for, but I know I can speak for myself where I say, watching from the comfort of an air-conditioned studio, you get some empathy points. JNU 69, it's the technically worst round of the weekend, but 67, 68, 69, still a pretty consistent run and nothing to shake a stick at. She's 3 strokes off the top heading into the final round tomorrow. The setup shot, what she hopes is just one more putt. On navigating, that's crosswinds, is a good one. Chaeming Young might just dive head first into the pond when she's done. Kim Rian, 8 iron. There for the taking. She ends up as the furthest from the pin despite being the closest after the drives. Tell you what, once this round's over, I can listen to the sound of that waterfall, put my feet up and enjoy beautiful, peaceful, and the stunning backdrop for the walk across the water to the green. Never say never. Chiming Jung has been down this road before, though. First pedal has eluded her. Get out of here with her par. Birdie would obviously be even better. And she's made a few on the longer end of the spectrum in the past. Take a par and start within 3 and never say never. Yeah, that tells the story, doesn't it?
진짜가 이 팀이야.
4 p.m. in the afternoon, it's still 33 degrees. Soaked towels at every tee block, doing everything they can to keep these players cool. They're out for a cold plunge once the scorecards are signed, I'm sure. Preparations and final surveying is done. It's time to putt. Kim Rayan for a birdie in 10 under, so close. Would have been for a round of 72. On the way out, 35 on the way in, much better. She is rightfully disappointed that there wasn't one last moment of magic. Let's take another look at the reaction. Come on. Oh, so close. Young is next, and it's another one. There's a narrow miss. Thompson and pars. It's 12 under, 16 pars, 2 birdies to date. Another flawless outing. But if she wants that first and elusive victory tomorrow, that putter's going to need to come alive. Certainly with the way Sung Yu Jin Peso Hyun Kochi won were firing today. And last but not least, so Jean, who's also in the same boat. She could have had that birdie and finished at even par. Bogey's 12 and 5, one birdie only. It was at the first. It felt like a much different round 4 hours ago. She finishes just outside of the top 10, 6 strokes back. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will do it for round number 3. Shortly head to the third round highlights and send you on your way. These 54 holes are in the books. 67 players out of our field this week. EA1 is one of the big stories. She's always one of the big stories, let's be honest. Certainly this season. She's in search of win number 4. She teed off at 10 a.m. a few minutes before it. 6 hours ago. She's been done for a little while. I'm sure her feet are up right now, and she's trying to unwind after a busy day. A day that's quite a few birdies found. And birdies, look, this is the highlights, so we're going to show you some great approaches, but it's usually birdies and eagles that we want to see, but it feels a little more so like the players came to play today. Hole 9. 9 under at this point for the tournament. 2 under for the round. Trying to keep this approach tight over the sands. I'd say that's mission accomplished. Aurora tells you everything you need to know. An eagle. And out with a 32. Next up, we'll go to 8. Pak Ji-young. And she was playing the par 3s perfectly. Finding a ton of greens in regulation. The front 9 is certainly where she made her biggest impact felt. Have a simple roll in from that point on. She did the turn at a 33. Also on hole number 9, the drama would continue. The birdie, I would see her move within 1 of the lead at the time. Sung Eugene, this was one of her more impressive putts. And it was a rare run of 4 holes in a row without a birdie. Be her longest of the day. And she'd still have a couple more before the dust was settled. 16 is where we want to go next. We saw our first player reach 14 under par. And that would be it for Sung Eugene. She would finish there with a 64 on the day. She would be passed on the leaderboard, but that single round performance would not be touched. Pak Ji-young was patient. She had to be. After that birdie at 8, she had to wait until the 15th to find another. She would add one more 18, which I have a feeling we'll see in just a few moments, but that certainly realigns her direction up the leaderboard towards the top. This from Coach E1 was a thing of beauty. She would have a little bit of drama at the 17th. That's to come in a moment, but first the aforementioned birdie at 18. I'm scrolling through the leaderboard doing a quick tally. I see 13 birdies total on this hole today. Such a tricky flag to attack, but that's exactly what Park Ji-young had done. And she replicates her round from yesterday when she shot a 67, and remarkably she stays bogey-free yet again. She will be 2 back when we kick off tomorrow. A perfect way to end the day. One last look at the leaderboards. Kochi won, a 1-stroke advantage. Pei So-hyun and Sung Eugene with rounds of 65 and 64 respectively. That is the 4th round of 65 for Pei So-hyun. No one has been able to do what Sung Eugene has done. She might be awarded tomorrow for that fantastic outing. Kim Min-sun 7 also with a 65, so that gives us 5 of them for the tournament. And she came out of nowhere, and she played in the back sections of the groups today, beginning on the back 9. And trying to climb back from a 2 under, just make the cut type of round yesterday. So Jean, pardon me, she had some struggles. The 73 she shoots, but is at 9 under and is in with a shot just outside of the top 10. Time to say goodbye, but don't worry, we'll be back the exact same time tomorrow. It will be a 1 p.m. local time starts here in Wonju. But for now, for all of us at the KLPGA Tour, my name's Adam Jenkins, saying so long, and tomorrow we'll crown a champion, a first ever champion, at the 2025 Aurora World Ladies Championship.